Hey, what's the deal, YouTube? It's your girl, Miss Honey. Lackluster. Lackluster. Lackluster, you guys. Oh my gosh. Listen, I am not in the new studio. As you can see, of course, I'm a very busy person. So I am out and about. I am filming the very best way I can. I am going to speak up and enunciate because I didn't bring my whole setup, my whole kit, right? Walked off and left it because I was moving too fast, right? So it's just me and the iPhone and my volume, all right? Let's talk about Power Raising Kanan. Episode 2 does not disappoint. Before we get going real good, I want to thank everyone for welcoming me back, expressing how much you miss me. I miss you guys as well so very much. Thank you to everyone who slides into my DMs and checks on me and just make sure I'm Gucci, right? Like still all together, right? I appreciate it. I love you guys so much. Thank you for all your comments. Thank you for all of your just engagement on this channel. It just really means a lot to me. And so I am back this week. I felt like my review for last week just was not given. It just wasn't given. Like I was nervous. I don't know why I was nervous because I be here with y'all all the time. I just been gone for like this little period of time, but I was actually nervous, right? Like not my normal self. I promise to make it up on episode 2 because I think this season is giving, and I want to make sure you guys, if you're going to be here 45 minutes to an hour, I want you guys to have a blast, right? So here we are. That's that. Y'all already know the deal. Thumbs up. If you're new here, hit the subscription button. Share the video. All of the things. All of the things. You guys are old hands at this. I don't have to babysit you. Okay, so listen. This episode was called Flipmode, right? Which of course immediately makes you think of Busta Rhymes, right? Because it's Flipmode Squad in the, right? So I was just like, okay. So we're looking for things that are in flip mode. We're looking for lives that are in flip mode. In other words, we switching up. We trying to do something different, something new this go round, right? And we see it all throughout this episode. But I want us to make a note of something because I noted it this weekend when I watched the show, and I watched it twice, you guys. Okay, one, that the pre-trailer for the show, the trailer that shows you the things that happen in previous episodes, really just tells us a lot, right, about the episode that we're about to watch. And so I thought, for fun, just kicks and giggles, we would go over this trailer, the opening trailer, previously on Raising Kanan, right? Okay. So they show where Jude warns Burke, right? And they show where Kanan reminds Howard that Burke is a problem. Then we see where Burke tells her girlfriend, if something happens to me, it's more than likely Howard. And the girlfriend's like, well, what do you want me to do with this information? We don't hear what Burke says. Okay, then we see where from season 2, Rock and Jacqueline, which is Juliana's cousin, that her connect, the supplier, right? She's confronting him, about some things that he had going on. Number one, he was gonna be supplying old boy's boy, Basie, Basie. And so she had some rumblings with him. We see where Unique basically threatens Juliana, and just letting her know, you know what I'm saying? I know what y'all doing out of this here bodega, and I'm not impressed, right? We also see where Scrap goes down, and we hear where Rock admits that she's to blame, that Scrap wasn't a snitch, and that's all on her. We see where Lou is telling telling Marvin about Rock's audacity. She has the audacity to tell me that she owns me. She has the audacity to do this, that, and the third. She had the audacity, just all of this audacity. She really thinks she's the pinnacle, right? And the rest of us is not supposed to have lives. This is what he's telling Marvin. This is the opener, right? And we see where Ronnie and Unique is taking a ride. This is last episode 1, and they're talking about the bad cop, the detective that it falsified information and evidence, and they've subsequently released 10 people from jail, right? Now 13, but 10 at the time of this broadcast, right? And Ronnie is expressing how the cops, they stayed 2 steps ahead of the cops, and Unique takes the brave moment to say, hey, listen, things are done differently now. We have to move differently. We change with the times, so on and so forth, right? We see where Juke confronts Lou about her song. This is in season 1. We go back to season 1, right? And this little snippet is from season 1 when she confronts Lou about her song, stealing her song. Why would you steal my song? How could you do me like that? Then we see where Juke is back again in the counselor's office, and this was from last episode. And shout out to my friend. I cannot think of the name. Oh, it's right at the tip of my tongue. But he asked me about the counselor in the comments. And at the time I was thinking to myself, hey, listen, this is how it goes. You know what I'm saying? That's how it went. When you went to school to the school counselor back in those days, and you wanted some information about how to, get on the right career path and what to do after high school and stuff, they usually told you 1 or 2 things: nursing, get yourself a trade, beauty school, or AC plumbing, phlebotomy. They just tried to push you into the trades, that type of thing. They really didn't push you towards college. Now, in some occasions, if your scores were like super, super, super high and you had the right school, they would. But for the most part, yeah, they pushed you into trades. We hear the counselor very pointedly push her towards being an officer. First, an officer in the military, right? The military was a big push, right? Because you just needed to show up. They just wanted a body, and your feet couldn't be flat. I think they done away with that flat foot stuff now. That they take you blind, cripple, crazy. No, I'm just kidding, but you know what I'm saying. And then that's going to roll her into being a police officer, right? So we see in her forging her own path. Now in this episode, we're going to see how that takes a turn, right? So we see that, and shout out to the honeybee that just kind of put that bug in my ear. I was able to go back and listen to it through this episode opener, and yeah, it got me to thinking. But we're going to talk about it in this episode. Oh, I almost called your name. I almost called it, but it's okay. Okay, so listen. Okay, so we see where Juke goes to the counselor, right? And then we see where the Italians feel exposed, right? They are really kind of like shutting down, locking down the ranks, so on and so forth, because the FBI, them alphabet boys, is looking at them. They combing through their books and stuff, and they don't need this kind of heat, right? We see where Kanan is declaring to Fame that he'll never go home to Rock again. Okay, and we see where Unique is at coffee with Rock, okay, at the diner, and this is where he makes his point quite eloquently, right? I didn't remember it this way, but hearing it replayed, he really, really stepped to her. He really, really stepped to her. I mean, y'all know I was feeling Joey Badass last season. I'm really, really feeling Joey Badass this season. Okay, let's move on. So I just want us to just think about what some of the things that the that the pre-show opener, recalling some of the past scenes for this new episode, what it tells us, what it shows us, it points us towards who we're probably going to see in the episode. It gives us a point of reference about some of the scenes that we're going to see in the episode. And I'll go ahead and go out on a limb and say it does give us some clues as to where the energy of the show is headed. If y'all agree, let me know. Put it down below. Okay, so let's get into the episode. 10 minutes? 10 minutes? Oh. So what? We're having fun. Let's just do it. So, the show opens with Rock and Unique, and they in Rock kitchen. And Rock got on a little quarter length, velour robe. You know what I'm saying? She got a little peekaboo action, and it's like a deep rose, mauve reddish rose. It's not mauve, it's a reddish rose, but not, more like a peachy rose. And it's very, 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 very close to her own skin tones, kind of olivey type skin tones, right? And deep and rich and just soft and voluptuous and, right? And she's got full hair moving forward, and she's sitting up high and he's standing down low, and they eating out of a carton of butter pecan ice cream, right? They eating the whole carton, right? You know what I'm saying? At this point, we don't know. It's been 2 weeks, y'all. It's been 2 weeks, and they've been ducking like rabbits and eating like they smoke before they do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know how you can tell people as you have all the kitchen just be out on the counter, right? Because you be famished, right? That's where they are. And Rock is really trying to keep it cute with Unique. She really trying to keep it cute with Unique. She let him know ain't nobody finna be up in here in this house but me and my son Kanan if he ever comes back. And Unique is really, really, he knows he been working on this thing right here for a minute. Right? The conversation at the diner lets us know he been working on this thing for a minute. He been seeing her. He been feeling her. It's one thing or another. It don't even matter, Ma. I want you. You know what I'm saying? But I'm older than you. And I don't think it's, and we're rivals. Nah, we're going to handle all that, Ma. Yeah, I seen you. I liked you. And I wanted you. Right? He is. It's hard to tell if he's finessing. I just don't think he is. I don't think he is. Like, the way him and Rock is snuggled up, this not just some booty call. Now, it does remind me back in the day when somebody would be like, I heard you used to date so-and-so. You'd be like, nah, child, we used to mess around, but we ain't date. You know what I'm saying? We used to mess around, but we ain't date. That mean it was probably a summer. Maybe like 30 to 90 days. Just a little yang. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't no stuff left nowhere. You know what I'm saying? Didn't nobody get up and brush their teeth per se there. You know what I'm saying? Okay. It's giving me that type of vibe. And they're having a good conversation and it's warm, and he's joking with her about what Kanan got going on. You know what I'm saying? You want me to take my belt off on that boy. And it's funny because they are in different stages of their life, and this does speak to that, right? It's cute. It's really, really cute. So Rock noticed immediately some commotion outside, and no sooner than they stand up, in comes people from both sides of the kitchen, right? And Rock and Unique are back to back, and they both looking side to side, like what we got here, what we got going on here, right? And now they done got comfortable enough where they don't have their guns on them right there with that butter pecan. Now, when you live this life, you got to have guns stashed everywhere. The fridge, the stove, you know what I'm saying, behind the fish tank, underneath the butter pecan. Like, you know what I'm saying, strapped to your leg. You got to have switchblades in your hair. Like, this the life y'all live, right? Well, it turns out it's the Italians. They put bags over the head and throw them in the back of a van. Even in the back of the van. Okay? Even in the back of the van, Unique's kicks was fresh and white. Right? He was still fresh and white. I was like, this dude had his had his ones on, and they are Air Force Ones, right? I think so. He had his ones on, his fresh white socks. I mean, not a smudge on the Joker. Not a smudge on the Joker. And you know, he's a skinny little fella, but he look like he he look like he like focus. Okay, focus. All right, so they get all mollywopped up, bust in, and yoked up. Get over here, thrown in the back of the van. We see where Rock and Unique kind of handle themselves really, really well with the Italians, right? Immediately, they're like, who is this so-and-so? You know, the big fish, Stefano, he's got him now in his warehouse, and he got them both tied to me. He's like, who is this so-and-so? Talking about Unique. And Unique is like, who are you? You know what I'm saying? And Rock is like, he ain't got nothing to do with this. Don't worry about him. And he was like, my name is Unique Beauregard. Thurgood Marshall. Like, yeah, this is my name. And ain't nobody scared of you. Ain't nobody scared of you. You know what I'm saying? I'm not kowtowing to you. No, I am a part of this. If she a part of this, I'm a part of this, right? They handled it. They handle it. Now, at the same time, if y'all notice, she wasn't trying to sun Unique. She wasn't trying to silence Unique. She wasn't trying to shut Unique up. Unique was handling his business. When the Italian guy went on and on about, oh, you know, he started calling him all different kinds of names and stuff, ubiquitous and unprecedented. You know, that's the number one snub when somebody don't want to remember your name. They refuse to remember your name. They, you know what I'm saying? They putting you in your place. It's a power move, right? Y'all know I haven't told y'all that before. And then when he was like, yeah, y'all get all the coolest nicknames and we get all the worst nicknames. It's Stefano. Stefano says, why don't you give me a nickname? He's like, you want me to be your daddy? Unique said, you want me to be your daddy and name you? Yeah, Stefano, he felt a sting, yeah. You asked for it. And he gave it to you. And then he had one of his boys come over and voila, Molly. He didn't mollywop him. He just mollied him real good, right across the mouth. And patooey, spit the blood out, right? And Rock is like, focus on me. What are we doing? Why you got me here? Right? They haul Unique on out of there, and Rock learn what's going on. She learned what's happening right now. What's going on is this. Okay, we need you to go over there and kill Sal because Sal tried to kill you. We need to get rid of Sal. Now, if you don't get rid of Sal, what we gonna do is we gonna get rid of you and everybody you know and love. Now, he talking to her right next to a furnace, a full-on burning furnace, right? And letting her know how fast it'll turn a human body into dust. So he low-key threatening her, and then he gives her the proposition, which she can't say no to, because if you don't get rid of Sal, what we gonna do is work with Sal to get rid of you. It's asinine on the face of it. Sal already worked to get rid of her. It's silly, but okay, it moves the storyline along. And Rock don't want to do it. Rock said, look, I'm out. I told everybody, I told my crew, everybody know I'm out. You know what I'm saying? All my buildings shut down. I'm not working at them areas no more. I don't do it no more. I don't do drugs no more. I'm on to something else. Right? And he just lets her know, no, you're going to do it. You're going to do it, or you and everything you love going to be inside this furnace. And she is just like, you know what? Y'all act like y'all got so many, you know, she just let him know how gully he really is. Well, y'all try to act like y'all so suchy muchy over people, and y'all just more gully. You want me to go after your own kind because you don't have the guts to. Right? But eventually she just concedes. And she said, after this, me and mines, we good, right? We good. We don't owe the Italians nothing. And he was like, yeah, you know, my hand to the father, you good. Y'all gonna be good. She take his word for it. I don't know anybody that's snaking their own people in the back. But Rock is a smart girl. She's a very, very smart girl. In the middle of all this, we see where Marvin is at the club with Lou. You And he really basically babysitting Lou. Like you could tell he's hoping that Lou is gonna get over this hurdle where he hates Rock and he don't want to deal with Rock. He don't want to deal with the life. He don't want to do this no more, right? This would mean that Marvin is losing Rock and he's losing Lou. That's what this means. He losing Rock in the game. She gonna be out. He gonna have to find his own source of income, and he losing Lou. Lou is not gonna be able to help him find a new source of income. They're not gonna take the business and then work it for themselves, right? It's all falling apart, and Lou is really trying to hold it all together. But Marvin is really trying to hold it all together. Well, Lou is there, and Lou is drunk as Cooter Brown. Lou been drunk for the last 3 weeks. Drunk, drinking drunk, right? Cooter Brown drunk, right? Falling down drunk. He belligerent. He's offensive. He blowing money like nobody's business. They not doing no new business. So the money you got going out is not coming in. It's not like residual. You get what I'm saying? This it, dude. You blow through this it, right? At the same time, Marvin see two white dudes checking him out. And they are dressed like they are them jump out boys. They are. They really are. And they eyeballing and they mean mugging. And Marvin not sure what's going on. And he got Lou here, and Lou drunk as Cooter Brown. Okay. We see where something jumps off in the club, and Lou yokes up a server, and he really about to make the situation way bigger than what it needs to be. The girls he was all hugged up on, they done scattered because they don't want to catch a straight bullet. You know what I'm saying? Dealing with a old nasty piece of hot head. And so they run off, and Marvin is like, yo, settle our tab. Tells the server, let's settle a tab. No big deal. Here's some money for your trouble. Sends him on the way. And Lou's like, the party just getting started. He was like, yo, we leaving out of here. The party been over. You carrying, because he still got to get his brother. He don't know what these white dudes is up to. And Lou say, I'm not in that life no more. So you out here drinking, drugging, all this stuff you done did, and you ain't even got a spizzy on you, a blizzy, or whatever y'all call it, glizzy. You don't even have glizzy on you, right? And so it's cute. Marvin set up this whole little thing where he looks like he's using the urinal, but he got his gun there because he see that the white dude's following him. And when the white dudes get in the bathroom and he realize they just want some coke and they think he a drug dealer, he chastises them real good for thinking all black people that they see sell drugs. Then gets a pen from one of them, takes a piece of gum out of his pocket, because Marvin stay fresh. Okay, takes the gum out the wrapper, gives it to one of the white boys, and the white boy just eat it. I was like, it was hilarious. It was hilarious because as far as unsure as Marvin is, he's got to be low-key panicking deep down inside with everything that's happening within his family. And he still manages to command those emotions and command the room, right? Take over the conversation. Like, he is a professional. I feel like in season 1, we kind of thought of Marvin more as a dullard. And through season 2 and season 3 now, 2 episodes, we're seeing that Marvin is just different. He is still formidable. He is still, he might be slow on some things, but for the most part, Marvin is in charge of the meeting. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. I like Marvin. I like the way he handled this situation. He said, here's my pager number. If you guys need anything in terms of supply, hit me up. Let me know. Now, these are Manhattan dudes, right? So they were like, oh, yeah, okay, cool. We'll. And so that was a good moment. That was a good scene. We see where Rock, no, let's go to Juke, right? Okay, so Juke is standing outside of Burke's funeral. You know, Burke was like Irish or something, and so they playing the bagpipes and stuff. And she is standing kind of quite ways off, but she can see Howard standing there with his uniform, and he is trying to get himself worked up to go into this funeral. Mind you, he's the reason her power got cut off, and he knows it. He cannot show it though. He's got to steal it all down, but at the same time, you can tell that he has some remorse about it. Juke sees all of this from afar. She really kind of considered Burke her friend. And I think she knows to some extent that Howard had something to do with it, because Howard had something to do with Kanan and Rock. And everything that has something to do with Kanan and Rock ultimately leads to other people getting hurt, like her mom. And it's in this moment we see Juke walk off. And Juke seems in this moment so lost. She seems very disconnected. It's almost like she's lost her voice, she's lost her song, she's lost her wherewithal. Like, people say she ought to just go and join the service. She's trying to get out of Brooklyn, and that is the most efficient way to do it, and that seems like something she should try to do. We see where Kanan is babysitting Fame. Marvin babysitting Lou, Kanan babysitting Fame, and he peeps an opportunity. Fame's got a neighbor who runs a courier service, and at first when Kanan sees it, he asks Fame about it. Fame is not a base head yet. Fame is going to be a base head. Fame has base head tendencies, right? You got to be, you know what I'm saying, like you lose focus, you just wander around your house, you're supposed to be left for school. Well, Kanan's like, hey, we should try to get a job with this guy. He was like, nah, we don't mess where we eat, right? Like, we live here, not for long if y'all don't get a job, Fame. He said, nah, let's not do that. And Kanan's like, look, I'm not going back home to live with Rod. So we got to find some way to get this money up, to get this rent up so that we can live, right? And so it was just an opportunity. It was just an opportunity, a real brief opportunity. We see where Howard he speaks beautifully at Burke's funeral, right? I don't think it was the eulogy. I think he was just speaking as her partner. But basically, he spoke highly of her, that she had high expectations for other people, including him, as well as herself. And it maybe if she had took it a little easier on herself and realized just how brilliant she was, they wouldn't be there now, right? So it's kind of like he was giving her shouts out, but it also was a little bit like justifying why he had to do what he had to do. In other words, this really hurts me, this breaks me up, but I had to do it because you wouldn't stop, you wouldn't quit, right? It was a bizarre, but yet beautiful words spoken at Burke's homegoing, right? Everyone is in tears. Everyone is in tears. People were laughing because he was being jovial, but for the most part, everyone was in tears, right? We see where Rock and Marvin are sitting in her kitchen, and he looking at the boarded up window that the Italians came in. She was like, no big deal. I wanted to put a sliding glass door there anyway. No, darling, you wanted to put French doors. French doors, right? Sliding glass doors is so passe. Anyway, this the 90s, so she wanted to put a sliding glass door there anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. Marvin tells her, and she tries to tell, she's sitting there chain smoking, trying to tell Marvin about how it's all good, it's not a big deal. They go do this one thing for the Italians, and then it'll be over, it'll be taken care of. And he was like, well, Juliana asked about the re-up, and she was like, I still need to talk to Jacquez about me being out. I just need to explain to him that I'm out, and then it'll be fine. I was like, I think they're supposed to jump you out. No, that's a gang. I don't think it's that easy though, Rock. I really don't think so. But okay. So, but basically, the way she's presenting this whole situation to Marvin mentions Juliana in the re-up. She says, I'm out. I'll just talk to Jacqueline. He says, well, we got 2 kilos left from the bodega or from Basie Projects. What I'd like to do is chop it up and, farm it out to some people in Manhattan. Sell it, bit by bit, piecemeal it to some people in Manhattan. And this way I can make me a little bit of money. Of course, I break you off something too. She was like, go on, do it. Just, I don't want you doing it like we was doing it before. In other words, don't take my blueprint. Make you a little piece of change and keep it, and we gonna call it even because you finna go around here and kill this Italian. And in his mind, I think you can see on his face that he really don't want to go and kill Sal. He don't want to kill Sal because he trying to make money. He ain't trying to cause problem for himself. And you out, but I got to still go in here and do this thing, right? Like, you out the game, but I still got to go in here and do this thing, right? You laying it all at my doorstep. But you also see it simultaneously. He does not have it in him to confront, to push back, right? And if he's got another plan, he doesn't really have the chutzpah to say, hey, no, this is what we need to do. This is how we need to do it, right? So nobody gets in trouble. Nobody runs the risk of getting their life taken. He just does what she tells him. And that doesn't help that she's making it seem like, bada bing, bada boom, zippity zap, zoop, voila. It's all going to be solved. I'm just going to throw in a sliding glass door. That'll fix that. You're going to go over and kill Sal. That'll fix the Italians. I'm going to talk to Jacqueline, and that's going to fix that. Everything's going to be done. Bippity boppity boop. Now get on out of here, you little scamp. It all kind of happens so fast. He's just like, oh, okay, this is all right. He doesn't want her to quit. Her quitting without a plan for him, he feels, is selfish. You can just see it on his countenance. He just doesn't have it in him to say, right? Anyway, y'all tell me what y'all think about Marvin and how Marvin is moving in this episode. I find it quite fascinating. Let's go back to Howard. Howard is still at the funeral when he learns from the captain about the crooked cop. Now there's 3 more cases, and he tells him with everything that went on with Burke, with her cutting her power off, because they think she cut her own power off. He tells him, he says, when you're going through her files and you see things, if you see something, you come let me know first. We can't have any more scandals after this. We've got 13 prisoners that were released, and I believe that Ronnie was one of them. Says, you let me know. And so Howard's like, well, what's going on with IED? And then the captain's like, yo, nothing. They don't have nothing yet. They still looking, but listen, we're trying to get this closed and shut down ASAP. We need to get this shut down and get this going and get this off the books. So Howard agrees. We see where Juke goes down to the recruitment office. After she leaves Burke's funeral, she goes down to the recruitment office and she talks to the recruiter, and she doesn't want to do it. So she ugly acting to the recruiter, being nasty and ghetto, and he's like, you got to take the ASVAB test. And she was like, ASVAB? He's like, yeah, you test in these subjects, English, math, science, we got to know that you got a basic knowledge of it. And he's like, then you got to pass the medical test. She was like, flat foot? And he was like, no, not just flat foot, a lot of stuff, asthma, a lot of stuff. And she's like, So she signs up for the test and she goes on. All right. She is desperate to be somewhere else but there. There is lonely. She don't have nobody. And this is how kids get into gangs too, right? Because they looking for family. They looking for love. They looking for comfort, relation, a sense of belonging. And so this is how pimps and other people can come and snatch your kids right up, right? Just saying. We see where Howard witnesses Burke's dad go off on her girlfriend. Her girlfriend is going from place to place. Remember, she said, if anything happened to me, she tells her girlfriend, she said, anything happens to me, I want you to know that it was bop, bop, bop. All right. So the girlfriend tries to tell the dad at the funeral. Probably the wrong time to try to have this conversation, but okay. I mean, you could have sent a letter, but okay. And he kind of yokes her up, and tells her to shut her mouth. And because of their lifestyle, that's probably why Burke did it. And da and bop bop bop. And I don't want to hear a word from you. She's crying and misty eyed because what a hard life. You get what I'm saying? Like for people who've been LGBTQ from the beginning, like back in the day, you could talk to people any old kind of way like that. There was no repercussion for it. Nobody was filming it, right? And so you just had to kind of eat what was said to you. I felt bad for her because there was not a moment for them to say, my daughter really loved you, and you've always been there, and you must be hurting too, that type of thing. The same thing that went on with Juke and Nicole. Basically, blame is laid at her feet, and we don't want you around here no more. Well, Howard sees the whole thing, and when she turns around from the daddy and she looks right at Howard, and she is quite literally terrified. She's quite literally terrified. And honestly, he looked a little scared too. He looked like, what is happening? What are we talking about? What are we working on? What's going on here? Right? We see where Kanan is still babysitting Fame. They coming from school. They see Paul. Paul is the courier guy. The guy with a ton of little young guys, black guys, that's riding bikes and scooters and all that stuff and delivering packages all over the city, right? So it's funny because the guy's trying to get people to go into Manhattan and all these other different places and deliver the packages, and they're like, we can't even use the water fountain in those packages. The courier guys are. And he looks at Fame and Kanan and says, y'all want a job? Y'all want to work? Y'all want to make some money? He was like, well, what kind of job? It's courier. Now, y'all looking down on the courier guys because they working a job. They hustling up. They got to hustle with the courier, with Paul the courier dispatcher. But y'all, they got more than y'all got. Fame and Kanan, they got bikes and scooters. Y'all got pat and turn. Right foot, left foot. That's all y'all got. That's all y'all got. Right? Y'all got nerd to snub it. Turn your nose up at it, but it's fine. Kanan questions about the specs and the logistics of his business. Finally, after he tells him how much he pay, how many jobs he get per day, so on and so forth, he done told all. He decided he don't want to answer no more questions. Well, there's very little questions left to ask you, sir. You told it all. And then he said, you gonna do the job or what? And Kanan was like, nah, we good. And then Kanan turns to Fame like that's his son. Like he raising his son. He giving his son some good advice. Sometimes it's good to know how other ninjas make their money. If you don't get your... Kanan, if you don't wipe that milk off the top of your lip, okay, and get that moisture from behind your ears, and get on inside trying to act like somebody wise father. All the stuff you done did don't make you ahead of the game, Kanan. It does not. It does not. Okay? Listen, let's talk about Marvin and Sal. At the same time that the feds have busted into Sal's house, not busted in like breaking the door down, but they basically run up on him and they question him. Marvin is talking to Nicole's daddy. Nicole's daddy done came over to visit, right? And all he can talk about is that song, that tape that Nicole and Juke, Nicole's dad is there, and he's happy to be out of the house. He's happy to be talking about Nicole, but he's talking about Nicole and Juke and their tape and the music, and Marvin doesn't know anything about it really. I mean, but Nicole's dad is going on and on and on and on about it. Back at Sal's, Sal is being questioned. And they're telling him, hey, we've got it on good authority that someone's going to try to kill you. Like, your own people really, really want to shut your water off. And Sal is like, but I just own a bowling alley. And they were like, I think we all know that you don't just own a bowling alley, sir. I'm just letting you know we could put you in WITSEC and protect you if you just give us some information. He was like, nah. I'm just a bowling alley owner, and I don't know what you're talking about. And they go on about their business, right? But they let him know it's going to happen. It's probably going to happen soon. Back at Marvin's, Juke comes in and she's just like, Mr. Bingham, what you doing here? And he was like, yeah, well, I had a friend who was a friend of a friend that I play golf with, and he's in the music industry, you know what I'm saying? And he's looking for members to interview, to audition for a girl group. And I thought you would be great with your talent. And she's like, I don't sing no more. And Marvin was like, since when you don't sing no more? And she was like, I don't sing no more. He was like, well, he was kind of crushed a little bit. He felt like he was doing a good deed. And I think this is him trying to make amends with how nasty Nicole's mom treated Laverne. She don't lift her hands out of her pocket. Nothing. Nada. She's not giving it. And he leaves the card there and he says, I really feel like Nicole would have wanted me to do this for you. Would have wanted me to give this information to you. She don't crack a smile. He says, okay, well, I'm out. Good night. Marvin's more cordial than Juke and sees him on out. And Marvin asks her, he said, since when you stopped singing? She said, I don't sing no more. He was like, well, why would you not do this? Why would you not give this an opportunity? And she was like, I don't sing no more. And at that moment, I was crushed because I was like, is this when Juke lost her song? Is this when she lost her desire to be exactly who she wants to be in this world? Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Pernessa, who is Unique's baby's mother, okay, she does not feel safe in the house with Ronnie. He in the middle of the living room ironing, okay, into eternity. Right, he must have went over that one pant leg like 25 times. Okay, and she tells Unique she don't feel safe there. And it ain't just me. Jerome got up and went downstairs in the middle of the night, and there was Ronnie sitting there watching TV. And Unique was like, Ronnie liked to watch his shows, his stories at night. Stories. And she was like, but the TV wasn't on, Unique. The TV wasn't on. Okay, this then just running around here, saving his urine in ice cream, in ice cream trays, and itemizing his poop samples. Like, he's off. He's not Gucci up in the head. Like, I don't feel safe here, man. He was like, don't worry. He's leaving. He's going to get his own spot. And I'm about to go and find a way to get more money, to make more money, to get more bread coming in. I just need you to hold it in the road a little bit longer. And I was thinking to myself, oh, Perdessa. Perdessa. If you got some people you can stay with, you need to go stay with them and let Ronnie have that house. Okay? Because you don't want to end up with your neck snap. That's what you don't want. Okay? You don't want to end up in Ronnie's pot. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Listen, Rock buys Kanan a Mustang. She done bought Kanan a whole Mustang, y'all. Okay, it's beautiful too. It is gorgeous. And she throws in the keys. Who car is that? And she said, your car. And he said, well, I don't even have a license. She was like, I won't tell if you won't. I was like, ooh, Rock, you could be so pimpish sometimes. You trying to buy the boy. But he get in and drive it. Because, yeah, why not? He drives very well. He drives remarkably well for someone who don't have a license and someone we never, ever, 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 ever seen drive. Okay? Howard, in the meantime, is sorting through all this IAD Italian task force. They got the task force there because somebody killed some Italians. They've been shot up, and so now they got a whole task force on that. And he's volunteering to help, basically so he can stay close to the situation because he knows it's the Italians that shot up Rock. Now, they not in there to investigate Rock's situation. They in there to investigate the Italians' position in the Rock situation. Like, they got hurt trying to hurt her, and they trying to investigate that, basically. After Howard discovers everything that he got going on, he really kind of seems a little puzzle. I think he's really trying to see not only what's popping, what's happening, but how he can use it to benefit himself. Like cover for himself, cover for Rock. You know what I'm saying? Just keep the good, you know, it, keep working things in their favor. That's what I think. And he kind of looked at Burke's death like he was feeling bad about Burke being dead, but I don't know yet. So we see where Kanan on the drive back from with the Mustang, he come back and he says, he asked about Burke. You know that her funeral was there. They say she offed herself, and Rock is like, yeah. Now he driving this whole time, and Rock is like, yeah, she offed herself. It's like, can you really believe she offed herself? He's like, all the bad stuff that cops do to people it's not hard to believe that they got bad stuff in their head. You know what I'm saying? They hurt themselves too. And he was like, so you think she turned her own water off? And Rob was like, yeah, I think she turned her water off like scrap. And she was like, yeah, like scrap. And he pulled over, baby, fast. I think he was trying to give her the opportunity to tell him. I think he was trying to give her the opportunity to explain, right? And stop acting like she not a part of all of the chaos. And she didn't take that opportunity. She stood her ground because this is how it was. I'm the mama or I'm the daddy and you the child. Is what I say, not what I do. And he's so deep into things, like she can't really play that role and it go. So he pulls over. He told her it's a nice car, but if I want to ride, I buy my own ride. He get out and walk off. She's crushed. At this point, really the only person that could hurt Rock, hurt her feelings, really hurt her feelings, is Kanan. And you can see it all over her face. But baby, when I tell you she's sharp in every single solitary scene. Whew, them cream thigh-high boots, baby, giving. Okay? Giving. Unique goes to see Stefano, right? This was a good moment. And to me, this, how Joey Badass has portrayed Unique in this franchise, this chapter of the franchise, yo, to me it's Emmy worthy. I'll say the same thing about Patina Miller, the lady who plays Rock, the actress who plays Rock. I will say the same thing about Marvin, London Brown, the guy who plays Marvin. Depending on how things go with Lou and Ronnie, like, you know, how their undoing or unwinding or unfurling of their character plays out. I'm telling you, this book 3 has some of the best actors. Right? And they just follow through on the intention of every scene, and we're getting it. We're feeling it. They're emoting. But baby, when Unique go to see Stefano and step to him like a dude, when he walked into the fish shop and the dude that punched him is sitting there, he puts his hand on his gun. He was like, yeah, hold on to that tight cause your right ain't jack. Right? Cause that right you got. It was just letting him know, like, you hit me like a girl, right? And so Stefano tells him, sticks and stones, Bruno, sticks and stones. And so they get in there and the banter continues. He calls him little Linguini because Stefano wanted him to give him a nickname, right? He was like, yeah, okay, little Linguini. But this time when he come in, he called him Linguini, Mr. Linguini, right? And at the same time, Stefano still can't quite remember what name starts with a U that is Unique's name. So he was like, yeah, unprecedented or unbothered or something. And It's all good. They talk about the fish, and they talk about the type of fish that was in the tank. They're very expensive, and how the fish, basically the woman does this dance to attract the men, and then when the men get there, the women choose. These are the fish they talking about. But he was like, I don't know if I could do that. He said, but it's no different than us as people. You just basically have to be a great conversationalist to pull the girl, right? To pull it off. And so he said, well, can I talk to you for a minute in private? Unique does, and Stefano takes him out back, and they sit down and they talk like men, like businessmen. And he says, I want us to work together. You know what I'm saying? Basically, I need to keep the supply coming, the flow coming. I need to work. And he's like, well, what? Stefano said, well, what do you think Rock is going to say about that? And he was like, well, Rock out of the game. He was like, yeah. Stefano said she told me that too. And he said, well, Unique, do you believe, he said, well, do you believe that Rock is out of the game? He said, well, it don't matter if I believe it or don't believe it. It don't matter if you believe it or don't believe it. All it matters is if she believe it herself. Right? It's a good moment. It's a good moment. And it's almost like at this moment, they both mutually respect Rock. They both have mutual respect for Rock. Okay? And he tells Unique, he says, listen, it's not just me you got to go through. The people I work with got to approve you too. And that's a whole nother conversation. That's a whole nother sit down. And Unique says, if you don't mind, at your earliest convenience, I will be humbly obliged if you would, hat in hand. I said some things, you said some things, but this about business, right? If you would humbly oblige me by setting up that meeting. He said, after all, if I'm nothing else, I'm a great conversationalist. And he sits back and pops them gold. I was like, ooh. It's this whole thing, right? And he finally calls him by his name, Unique. That I do believe. I do believe that, Unique, right? And he tells him, I respect you, how you step to me. I respect how you, bop, bop, bop. It's a good moment. It's a great scene. It is an excellent scene. And I don't know. Everybody be looking for Breeze. And Breeze might be here all along. That's all I'm going to say. Okay, so let's go back to Sal. Sal's at his house. He's worried sick. He has a heart-to-heart with his wife, basically telling her how much he loved her. She was the best choice he ever made. She just wants to talk about their grandson's christening, and that's going to be a big to-do. Marvin is trying to get himself set up. Basically, he tries to sober up Lou by trying to get Lou to come and do this Italian job with him. Like, he's like, you don't have to use a gun. All you got to do is be a lookout. That's all I need you to do is drive and be the lookout. And then Lou is like, who is it for? Now, he waking up from a drunken stupor. Who is it for? Rock. And Marvin just looks at him. He was like, nah, I told you. Duck, Rock. He slams the door. Marvin goes on about his business. He was like, yeah, while y'all fighting, y'all squabbling, it's siblings, I still got work I got to do, right? Marvin just has this really happy-go-lucky type of way about him, even though I know he's got a lot of weight on his shoulders and he's got a lot of things that he's responsible for. He just really kind of takes it all on the chin, though. Okay, so he goes and gets his friend in the wheelchair, the one that helped him when he got shot, and took him in. And then drove him to go and pick up the money and the stuff from the bodega and got him home safely. And probably got him wrapped and bandaged up because the dude, I think, was in the military for the first time we saw him. So he goes and gets that guy, and that's the guy that's going to help him with getting Sal. Listen, Kanan is sitting outside of his apartment, him, Fame, and they pass around blunt with the dudes that do the courier service. And Howard rolls by and looks at Kanan. Kanan looks at Howard. Howard looks at Kanan. He rolls by real slow, real predatory, like, see where Rock goes to see Joaquin. And Juliana. And Juliana gets on my nerves. I wanted her to be slapped real hard in the face, especially when she kept sitting there and doing her, like she just got her nails done or something. I don't know. She was working my nerves and drinking that Chianti, right, on somebody else's dime. Wasn't you just in first season being mollywopped and oppressed by your husband? And wasn't it Rock that got rid of your husband and put you in charge and put you on the bank and game and money? You acting real brand new. Just cause somebody done gave you old nasty piece of Vanity 6, gave you old nasty piece of Vanity 6 hairstyle. You think you so suchy muchy. So she ran there telling Rock can't get out of the game. And Joaquin is like, well, I don't know why she can't get out of the game. It's not that big of a deal. It's not like she our supplier. She was just buying from us to sell. It's not that big of a deal. And they talking in Spanish, and she was like, I don't like the heifer. I don't like the heifer, and I don't want to give the heifer no break. Basically, this is what she's saying. I don't like her, and she's a punta, or whatever. However they talk when they want to be nasty at them. And Rockstick takes one step forward and talks to both of them in Spanish. And Joaquin is impressed. Yes, you are, Joaquin. Everybody is. Everybody is. Everybody wants to sniff Rock's panties. Rock is a formidable foe. She ain't no dummy. She ain't no idiot. Okay? She's not impulsive. Any of those things except when it comes to killing scrub. But, you know what I'm saying? They did do their due diligent research. You know what I'm saying? She's a formidable foe. Right? Like you don't want these problems. And when she stands up and speaks Spanish, Joaquin was like, oh, you know Spanish? She was like, I do. See, senora. Okay. And then she get Juliana together too. She get her all the way together and walks out, and Juliana was like, she's not going to get away with this. And Joaquin tells Juliana, listen, you need to let her go before she decide that you the problem. Now, this is the second time he done had to tell her this. This is the second time he done had to tell her, pipe down, Juliana, she'll kill you. Rock handled it. Like she said, I'm going to go and tell them they're going to let me out of the game. Bada bing, bada boom. I still don't think it's going to be that easy. And I don't 100% believe that Rock is truly trying to get out of the game, per se. I think she's trying to find a different way to work the game. She has to know that the money that she's getting is not going to last forever. So she's got to be formulating some plans, right? We just don't know what they are yet. Okay, we see where Unique and Ronnie go to the club. Ronnie got on jeans, and they let Unique in first. Now he looked like he got on a MC. Y'all tell me what is MCE? Like the leather type suit. You got the top and the bottom. He got that on. They go into the club. They won't let Ronnie in because Ronnie got on jeans, and Ronnie was like, "We're together. Let me in." And the guy was like, I don't care. I'm in charge of wardrobe. And so Unique comes back, and Unique tells to the guy and says, no, this is my brother. You got to let him in. He's like, he with me. And he was like, okay, go ahead. He said he just got out. He don't have his fit yet. And so when Ronnie takes a few feet, the guy was like, yeah, step your game up, inmate, or something like that. Something he shouldn't have said. And you could see Ronnie making a note. Remind me to rip your spinal cord out later on tonight, right? The rest of the night, girls try to approach him, try to give him a little sugar and dance up on him. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he looked like he been bench pressing hate and anger. He looked like he bench pressed about 350 in hate and anger and bitterness, baby. And the girls is looking like, and he's like, get off of me. I was like, ooh, didn't nobody touch you in prison, did they? Because you really kind of seem like it might be, what they call that? They call it, I forget what the word they call it when you institutionalize. He's very, 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 very institutionalized. Let me just say that, right? And he just on, and Unique is like, you need to calm down, you need to relax. You know what I'm saying? Just try to let loose. And he was like, I don't relax. I don't do that. I don't do relaxation. Okay? I do murder. Okay? I carnage. Okay. I steal souls and Christmas. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't do happiness and joy. If it ain't sour, if it ain't bitter, if it ain't salty, I don't do it. Okay? I'm disciplined. I'm focusing in this thing. All right? And all the while he looking at that guy, the guy who acted real crazy with him when he the bouncer. Ooh, I was like, ooh, bouncer, you need to leave town for a little while. I don't know what a little while is because Ronnie don't look like he forget jack, nothing, nada. Okay, we see where Kanan makes a play to Paul, the courier guy. In other words, you still keep doing your currying that you doing, but instead, along with your packages, y'all gonna drop off my packages. Y'all gonna take my packages into the city, right? And he breaks it down for him, 75, 25. We're gonna do 75 and we're gonna give you 25. And the guy was like, nah, you gonna pay my guys too. And Kanan was like, hey, it's no problem, it's not a big deal. I can pay your guys too. Now you ain't got a supply. You don't have a source. It's completely naive for you. The guy was like, you're in high school. You're like 16. And he was like, yeah, money don't have no age on it. Making money don't have no age on it. But common sense does have an age on it. How you gonna run this whole thing? Where you getting it from? You finna make up some more drugs to kill people all over the street to pass out? Like, this is the quickest way you gonna get caught up. Somebody gonna report you. Right? It's gonna be you or them, and it's gonna always be you every time, right? So what is you doing, Kanan? I mean, it just wasn't smart. He blew his mama off. Like, where you gonna get the supply from? He's saying it like they're gonna just be selling weed. They're gonna just be delivering weed, right? And then him and Fame gonna handle the distribution and the packaging and all of this stuff. And the guy was like, let me think about it. And Kanan was like, cool. Meanwhile, everywhere Kanan go, he walking. Now, he talking a good game. But just to look at it, on the face of it, I would be second guessing my options with it when it comes to getting into business with a 16-year-old. Just saying. Just saying. So we see where Luke goes to see Lou. Let me go back to Kanan for a second. Kanan talking about me and Fame. I cannot wait for the moment when you realize that Fame is going to be your worst possible choice. He's your greatest liability, Kanan. He is. You really should be moving in silence, but this goes back to you being just a child. It's fine. Juke goes to see Lou, and Lou is tidying up. He's clearing the cobwebs, so on and so forth. It's almost like she called before she got there, and he's kind of trying to fix up. When she walks in there, she can see all the liquor bottles. I mean, he's putting liquor bottles in the cabinet and still drinking out of them. You know what I'm saying? Like, Lou has got to get himself centered, right? But she comes in, and she is telling him she don't appreciate how he treated her, and he stops her. He said, before we get into all of that, I want to tell you that I'm sorry to hear about your mom. It was good for me to hear. I missed the fact that Rock did give Juke some hope about her mom when she explained to her mom's last words. She told Juke, even though it wasn't the truth, she told Juke that her mom was there to talk about how much she loved her. And then her last words were about being proud of Juke and loving Juke. And it was not the truth, but it was something Juke needed to hear. And you just never know when something like that keeps a person from making a really, really bad decision and deciding they no longer want to be here. So I commend Rock for that. She was one of the few people that, outside of Marvin, that acknowledged Juke's mom's death. And now we see Lou do it here. It's very tender. He then goes on to further apologize for how he handled her song situation and the thing about her looks and all that stuff. He said, "You are absolutely talented and beautiful, and I was wrong for doing what I did. I never should have done it, and all I can ask is your forgiveness." It's another good moment. We're seeing these little wins for Juke, and I need to see it. I need to see it because my heart goes out to Juke, right? How everybody sort of just disregards her and disrespects her and acts like her feelings don't count and they don't matter. Now we're seeing that her family, at least as it pertains to the adults, really are trying, right? Marvin trying to encourage her to do the song thing. Now we see where Lou is apologizing and hat in hand coming to Juke and just being real humble. And she says, she asked him for help with her song. She was like, "If I decide to do this, I was hoping you could help me." And this helps Lou too. Lou needs to get back into being productive. He needs to, you say you don't want to deal with Rock. You got to get back on the horse. You did all this stuff with Crown. You got to get back out here on the horse. You gotta make it happen for yourself, right? And so this kind of helps them both out, right? We see where Burke's girlfriend then goes to the captain. And she's trying to tell Captain, the captain do her just like Burke's daddy did. I don't want to hear nothing. I don't want to hear nothing about Burke. Mind your business. Burke was on one. You know what I'm saying? She was like, "But I just want to tell you." And she was like, I don't want you to complete your sentence. I don't want to hear what you have to say. If I hear what you have to say, I may have to act on it. And I don't want to do that. He sends her on her way. For your own good and for Burke's own good, go on. Okay? Because she got a lot of dirt on her name right now, and you're not helping the process. Okay? We see where Rock goes to get her hair done. Right? Okay? Kanan is playing the long game with Paul. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're recapping, right? We're going through this whole little montage. Rock going to get her hair done. You know what I'm saying? She liked to go and busy herself when the crimes that she had set forth is taking place. Now, Marvin is supposed to go and take care of Sal today at the christening. Okay? So she want to make sure she was at the beauty salon when all this went down. Okay, Kanan playing the long game with Paul. At the end of the day, I think Paul is an old school scammer, and he probably gonna end up taking Kanan, but I digress. We see where Juke and Lou are back in the zone again. You know what I'm saying? They both love music. This is a happy place for both of them. They're both in a clear, sober-minded place, and they're having a good time. We see where Marvin's handles business as it pertains to Sal. It was a very good scene. Marvin had previously stolen a mailman truck, the big ones, right? And now he got his old boy from Basie Projects driving it for him because, he couldn't get Lou. And Marvin looks good in his uniform. He's just sitting out there putting his silencer on. And he has him take him around back, and he walks up. And nobody pays attention to a mailman walking up. They Sal got people all outside, but it's no big deal. It's just the mailman. And he even got a few letters he gonna put in the mailbox, And then when Sal comes out, he sees Sal's with the wife and the grandson. And he don't make a move then. It's a lot of Sal's men around, and now he got his family around. As soon as Sal hands the baby off and stands for a picture, Marvin does what he has to do. Shuts his water off. Goodbye. And then Sal, down goes Frazier, right? Marvin goes through the church. He's running, they're shooting, and I'm afraid for Marvin the whole time. Goes out back. Basie Projects is waiting on him. He jumps in the car, jumps in the van, and still until the scene ended, he was standing there and he was feeling good that he accomplished his goal, getting his task done. I was still expecting somebody to to send a stray bullet Marvin way. Like, I'm so worried about the Marvin character. I just like him so much, and I don't want anything to happen to Marvin. I just don't know. I don't know. What y'all think? Who's gonna be fodder? This was a good episode, you guys. This was a really good episode. Like I said, Patina Miller, Joey Badass, Juke, Haley Kilgore plays Juke, does an outstanding job. London Brown plays Marvin, outstanding job. I love what Omar Epps is doing with the Howard character. I really love Tony Danza's character. He wasn't just giving us, bada bing, bada boo. He wasn't just giving us of kitsch and stereotype. I mean, that conversation he had with Unique, Stefano had with Unique, it was good. It was good. Okay? Y'all tell me what y'all think of this episode. Y'all put it down below. And until next time, honeybees,